Good morning, everybody. By popular demand, Paula's Kitchen is back. Today we are going to bake something, and again, throwing back to my mom's era, we are going to bake what is traditionally called the best coffee cake on earth. I'm not sure about that, but this recipe comes from Miss Millie Merk back in the 1940s or 50s. It was first published in the LA Times. We are going to make MERK'S coffee cake. So let's talk about ingredients first. Coffee cakes, of course, always seem to involve brown sugar and cinnamon and butter, so we're going to make a streusel topping and add some walnuts to that. And then we've got traditional cake ingredients: flour, sugar, vanilla, baking powder, eggs, and some sour cream as well for moistness. And then over here I've got kind of my tools and utensils for my cake. I'm going to use a traditional 10-inch tube pan. I have to sift the flour, I have to grind the nuts, and we've got measuring things and so on. So, hey guys, let's get started. Let's turn the oven on, preheat to 350, and let's bake. Okay, so I do a lot of prep with baking just to kind of get everything staged and set, and then I can just dump it all together. First thing I have to do is sift together my dry ingredients. So I pre-sifted 2 cups of flour. So I'm going to pour them in my sifter yet again. There's one, and there's the other one. And then I also need a tablespoon of soda for leavening. I tend to use the piece of cardboard just to cut that off. And then I also need a teaspoon of baking powder. All right, and then I'm just going to sift all that together. These are going to be my dry ingredients for the cake. And done. Okay, so you may or may not have a tube pan, depends what generation you come from. You could also make this coffee cake in a bundt pan. You just have to be really careful to use lots of Crisco to grease the pan, or Pam or something, so that it doesn't stick. So I have a 10-inch tube pan, and I am going to grease the bottom only. I majored in cooking in college, and my professor, Miss Lawbacher, always said, never grease the sides of a cake pan because it can't climb greased sides, which I thought was very wise. You also want to use a little piece of wax paper, kind of cut the size of the bottom to help the cake come out easily, and that is ready. Okay, so I am working on the streusel topping now, and I need to chop up a cup of walnuts. If you have a food processor or any kind of kitchen gadget that'll take care of that for you, or you can even buy them sometimes chopped in the grocery store. I have this little thing I got from my mom, and it kind of runs on human power, but it gets the job done. And get myself a cup of chopped fresh walnuts. The streusel topping contains 4 ingredients. We have some very soft butter. We are going to add in 1 cup of brown sugar and sort of cream that together. And then the other ingredients are cinnamon and the walnuts that we chopped up. Last ingredient, the walnuts. Notice this almost becomes a paste by the time you're done. And when you add it to the cake, you're basically going to be crumbling it with your fingers. This is the best part of the whole cake, for sure. All right, that looks done to me. All right, we are finally ready to put the cake together. I have everything staged and ready and my mixer standing by. So first thing to add to my bowl is the shortening. I'll use a smaller spatula. You guys don't need to worry too much about quantities right now. We will put the whole recipe in the description box for you. All right, we're going to start with that, and we are going to cream it with the sugar. So. Next up, we're going to add the eggs one at a time, and we're going to beat them thoroughly between each one. Under normal circumstances, you would not turn the mixer off in between each one of these, but I want you to be able to hear me. I actually need to put the vanilla in as well. I need a teaspoon of vanilla, and I'm going to do that before I do the other eggs. All right, that looks very lovely, nice and creamy. So the other two ingredients for the cake we are going to alternate, which is my flour mixture that I sifted earlier and 1 cup of sour cream. So we're going to alternate those. I'm going to start with the flour. Put some of that sour cream in there. A little bit more flour. A little bit more sour cream. Alrighty, that looks just about right. So let's clean up and let's assemble the cake. All right, we are finally ready to put the cake together. That was quite a bit of prep, but it'll taste worth it once you get there. All right, I have my tube pan, I have my cake batter, and I have my streusel. So let's do it. First, you need to pour half of the batter into your pan. I'm doing this backwards, so a little tricky. Let me see if that's half. Let's spread that around a little bit. It smells great. Let me grab a little bit more. Put on this side. All right, now here's where the hand comes in. We're just going to grab some of this ooey gooey streusel We're going to drop it around the cake so that when you bite into it, it's in the middle. Not an exact science, but that looks like about half. All right, then the rest of the batter is going to go over the top. So let me see if I can do this without disturbing the streusel. We're going to spread that very nicely with the spatula. All right, guys, let me gently spread this around. Get all the good stuff off the spatula as well. Clean the sides of my pan a little bit. All right, and then the rest of this is going to go on the top and make a nice crusty top to the cake. This is fun. It's ooey and gooey. All right, let me clean my hands, and then this is going into a 350-degree oven for 50 minutes. It's the moment of reckoning. Been 50 minutes. The smell of cinnamon is just wafting through the whole house. Let's see how she looks. Oh man, this is where we need smell-o-vision. Look at that, you guys. That is a thing of beauty. So what we have to do now is cool it in the pan for 10 minutes, and then we're going to invert it, put it on a cake plate, and we will show it to you. Through the magic of video, 10 minutes have gone by, so let's try to take this out of the pan. First of all, I am going to just run a butter knife around the edge, because remember, I did not grease the sides of the pan. So we'll just make sure we loosen that a little bit. And in the middle as well. Alrighty, moment of truth. Let's see if we can pull this baby out. Jiggle a little bit. Ooh, check that out. Now I find the easiest way for me to do this is to actually do it in 2 steps. I'm going to invert it onto a plate, and then let's see how we do. Except it's hot. So now you remember we did some wax paper, so let me peel that off, get rid of it, and then let me invert this the way it will ultimately be served, which is like so. Not quite in the center, but not bad. There we go. The final product, hot as can be. So we're gonna let that cool, and then I'm gonna get my cameraman, we're gonna make some coffee and tea, and we're going to sample this. Hello everyone, time has passed. The cake has cooled. I made us a little cup of tea and a cup of coffee. I'm the tea person, my cameraman's the coffee guy. And we are ready to cut the cake. It's such a beautiful afternoon, we decided to come outside. So, moment of truth. Let's see what we got. Let me cut into some of that streusel. Let's see how she looks. It's a coffee cake. We're gonna take a nice generous slice.
Oh, wow.
Oh, look how beautiful. Wow. Ooh, it smells great. Plop that over onto a plate.
Where's mine?
That is yours. I'll give you all that streusel. And, oh, it's really great looking and so moist. I am excited.
Okay.
It was, you know what, it was a lot of work and it was a little bit of a mess, but oh, yum. I can't wait to eat some. Hi, Dale. Nice camera work.
Have you ever heard of the show must go on?
We've all heard of that.
I think Noel Coward coined that phrase back in the 1950s. But if I could only tell you what happened today during this shooting, we had a cake that was dropped. We had walnuts that were in our hair.
All over
the
kitchen.
floor, the kitchen,
They
our
went flying.
hair. I think there's still some in my earlobe. And the camera, one of the cameras was not turned on.
We forgot.
We forgot to turn the camera on.
We positioned it.
And the light that was supposed to be shining on Paula when we were doing the chopping stuff decided to have a short and not go on. So now, your best thing to do is go re-watch the video and know exactly what it was that we went through.
And stay tuned for the outtakes video, you guys.
All right. Hey, I hope you had a good time on this one, right?
Yeah, I hope you did. We did work hard on it, and it was a little bit of a trial. It wasn't as easy as our first one.
All right, let's take a bite of the cake now and see what it takes.
Yeah, definitely. I am ready. Enough of this postponing and waiting. This thing has been wafting through the house for hours. I'm ready to eat.
All right.
Pardon me if I get it all over my face. Wow, that's really good.
Is it?
Moist and delicious.
Can I have mine? And I'll just take a bite while you. I mean, it's not fair. I'm filming. I don't get to eat.
It is not fair at all.
So let me just show you mine right here. I'm gonna take a bite. I'm not gonna show you me eating it. Oh wow. Hey guys, make that.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's very good.
Really good. Okay, hope you had a good time. We'll see you next time.
Hey, you guys got to give us points for trying.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Enjoy the cake.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.